Now, we all know that OnePlus Open is not releasing a OnePlus Open 2 just yet, at least this year they are not, but it hasn't stopped them from releasing another color, which we spoke about the other day. But there was a couple things about that color that I had missed. I want to talk to you about it, and let's jump into it. So this upgrade is going to be known as the Apex Edition. It's going to come with 1 terabyte of storage, which is up from the 512 that you can get on the OnePlus Open, and it's also going to have a VIP privacy upgrade. Now you might ask me, well, what is that VIP privacy upgrade? I just have to know. Well, per their website, it is the redesigned alert slider, which starts VIP mode for cutting edge chip level encryption and in privacy. So you're going to get increased privacy on there. And then also, like I said, you'll still get 16 gigs of RAM and 1 terabyte of storage, which is going to be a huge amount of storage on there. The price, they haven't announced it yet, but they said they would on August 7th, which is just a couple days from now. I love quick share on Android phones, especially on Samsung. The reason on Samsung is because you can quickly share a file with someone next to you, but you can also do it from far away, and it creates a link for you. And it used to have a 5 gigabyte plan on there, in terms of you'd only be able to do up to 5 gigs of file storage sharing for a day or something like that. And now it's going to be increased to 10 gigabytes, which is a very, very nice upgrade. It's all free. You don't have to pay for any of this. You can see they pushed out an update for the Quick Share app, and they increased the upload file per day size with a QR code when you copy the URL from 5 gigabytes to 10 gigabytes. They also improved device identification, displaying up to 2 lines of the name, and displays the total file size to be received in the upcoming pop-up. So just keep your eyes on this. It might be in the Galaxy store, so check it in there. Otherwise, it might be in the Google Play Store for the update. Now, we've been talking about an Apple foldable device for years, and we're still waiting for it. We're already on the 6th generation of foldables from Samsung. Google's about to release their 2nd generation. OnePlus has a foldable phone, and then the Chinese manufacturers such as Xiaomi and Huawei have devices out for generations as well. Apple, again, still hasn't done it, but it looks like come 2026, that is due to change. They're going to come out with a foldable flip style device that will be a foldable iPhone, again, just like the Galaxy Z flip phone. And then they'll also come out with a foldable tablet, potentially up to an 18-inch screen on that. And once Apple does it, I've been saying this for a while too, I think once Apple pushes out and releases a foldable phone, it's going to put a lot more eyes on the foldable devices here on the Android side, because I know a lot of people on the Android side know about it, but it is like on a daily basis, have it be at my son's school or at a store or anywhere else. I can bring my Galaxy Fold phone and people are wowed by it, haven't seen that before. So once Apple does it, it's going to put a lot more eyes and bring a lot more sales to not only Apple, but to Android as well. Let me know your thoughts on an Apple foldable phone. What do you think they'll get right? What do you think they'll get wrong? I want to see them do, which they already have on their tablets, but I want to see them bring multitasking to a phone. The most hyped device that I am eagerly anticipating that potentially could come out towards the end of this year, if not in early next year, is the Samsung Galaxy XR headset. XR stands for extended reality. It's going to be somewhere in between virtual reality and augmented reality, and have its own little world. If you know the Apple Vision Pro, this will be a competitor to that. And this is, I love these devices. I have an Apple Vision Pro, which I have to admit, I don't use it that much. Still waiting for that killer app to come to it. I probably would use it more if YouTube was built into it. Now I can use the browser to watch YouTube, but it's just not the same for it. I really want the YouTube app on there. And then beyond that, there's some cool things in there, like some of the games are cool that you can do on there, like the augmented reality type games that are right in front of you and board games. It's just, the things I'm really looking forward to in terms of extended reality are some kind of really cool social media type thing that is fun and interesting. They have some stuff like that, but there really needs to be a killer social app. And then also, I just want YouTube, and then I'll be pretty much happy with it. You can do some of that stuff already on Meta. Apple stuff is obviously another level of all that stuff, but Samsung's device is taking some of its design elements from the Galaxy S25 per Ice Universe, who's saying some of the design and features of the S25 take into account into the Galaxy XR. Now, what possibly could he mean by that? Well, in terms of design and features, this is what we potentially think the phone's gonna look like, which really isn't that much of a jump from the previous generations of the Galaxy S line, but you've gotta think that it's probably gonna be really high quality made, because the S line is. You gotta think that it's probably going to be really cool and edgy looking. It's not gonna be like, I would squared off maybe somewhere off on it, since they're doing a lot of squared edges on the phones now for the S25 Ultra. That's all I can really think about. The color scheme will probably be very similar to an S25 series of phone. The processor inside will probably be something similar or something as powerful as an S25 phone. The cameras inside hopefully will be S25 quality. You know, that's kind of what I'm thinking about. Some of the features, if you're thinking about feature-wise, you got to expect that probably some of the software features, like the Samsung features, the Samsung apps that are built into that. Maybe you're gonna have some ability to use Good Lock in there, or to multitask and control some of your devices easily, wirelessly on that. That's what I would guess would be some of the things. Now, the extended reality headset from Samsung is due, at least what we think so far, is that it's going to be a standalone device, meaning you won't have to connect it to a phone or a computer or anything like that. You can use it independently of any other device if you want. And it's supposed to potentially have a 3500 ppi OLED screen built into it. So when you look through it, it should be really high quality display that you're looking at. And the display should be made by Sony. Now, this is, again, it's just, it's a smart place to get into. I feel like Apple's is amazing. It's really intuitive, really easy to use, and hopefully Samsung goes that same route and it's really intuitive and easy to use, and I think they will, and they'll probably even add some features in there that Apple doesn't have or should have. Obviously AI will play a big part into this. Samsung Galaxy AI is huge right now with what they do, a lot of technology and features, and their software is just kind of built around all of that, and you got to expect they're also going to do that. But I love these devices because they really take you out of the world that you're in, and it's great for a flight. It's great for just getting away. It's great for having your own display and it being huge and being able to multitask and work. There's so many great reasons for these. The price just needs to get extremely low, much lower, into at least under $1,500, which who knows when and if that will ever happen. They need to be having killer apps that are really important to have and use on these devices. Movie watching is amazing on these devices. To be in like a theater or to be in this own little world and you can watch 3D movies on it, like, it's amazing. As you know, I've had a Galaxy Z Fold 6 for a bit of time at this point, and the Galaxy Z Fold 6 Slim, Ultra, whatever they end up calling it, W25, F25, is going to be out very, very soon. And we know a little bit more about this phone, and it's not sounding all that bad in terms of if you wanted to end up importing this phone. So this tweet comes from the Galaxy, and the Galaxy is putting out into the Galaxy, the universe, the following, that the Galaxy Z Fold 6 Slim is apparently ready for launch, limited colors, and a price that's not as high as previously expected. The device could launch at Samsung's Galaxy XR event or at a simple press release. Now, just to go a little bit into the colors here, this guy, Sid, is saying that the Galaxy Z Fold Slim is gonna come on the colors of black and silver. Remember, Galaxy Z Fold 6 Slim won't have S Pen support. I have an S Pen right here. Let me go off camera a little bit. So no S Pen support on that phone, so that will reduce the cost of the phone. But it's supposed to have better cameras, bigger displays, and it's supposed to probably not have much more other than that. And that would make sense if we're gonna see something that is basically the same thing as a Z Fold 6, except with bigger displays, no S Pen support, and something that has better cameras. Yeah, I can see that being about the same price as what we're paying with this, maybe just a little bit more, $100 or $200 more than the Z Fold 6. And if that means that is happening, then the import prices should be very competitive. I don't expect, if we import this from eBay or some other website, that this phone being released in South Korea and China would cost all that much more to import. I don't think it'll be $500 more. It could be, but I'd be kind of hard pressed to end up seeing that happen. And then the overall changes on the phone, those are some of the changes I would like to see. I've done videos, multiple videos. The cameras are actually pretty damn good on the Z Fold 6. They're better than the Z Fold 5. They're better than the OnePlus Open with the video I just put out earlier today. And then also with that, they expanding the displays. That's one thing I like about the OnePlus Open is the displays are bigger on the outside and the inside, giving you better and more viewing space, especially when you're multitasking, multi-windowing. That is awesome. So, you know, those are a couple of the changes that I would like to see with the Galaxy Z Fold line, and it's coming to most likely the Z Fold Slim, Ultra, W25. What do you guys think? What would you love to see? A big change or any kind of change? What's that one change you really, really want to see on the Fold line? Thanks for watching. Besides the price, come on. Everybody wants the price to be lower. Today's video is going to be all about the Google Pixel Fold phone. Now, I have the Google Pixel Fold, which has the Tensor G2 processor inside of it. And the new Google Pixel 9 Pro Fold is going to have the Tensor G4 processor. Now remember, this phone's only a year old, but the processor inside is 2 years old, and the Tensor G4 processor isn't even out yet. It will be out in August, which is it's a few weeks from now. We're in August, but it's going to be like a few weeks from now where it's actually released. And that's, again, going to be a 2-year-old newer processor. And I put a tweet out detailing some Geekbench benchmarks on here of the Google Pixel 9 Pro Fold versus the Google Pixel Fold. And it's crazy because the score on the 9 Pixel, version 9, is 1590 and 3821. And the score on the Pixel Fold Original, which has the Tensor G2 processor, is only 1466 and 3709. There's barely any difference on these scores at all when you compare these processors versus each other. I'm not saying that the raw performance numbers are everything and that's going to completely make this phone bad. I'm not saying that, but what I do want to show you is what you can expect to get and then amplify it by maybe a few percentage points better performance on certain things. So without further ado, let's get to it. All right, all apps are closed, and I'm just gonna open up some random apps here. I'm gonna open up Twitter. You can see how fast it opens. You can see it opened up pretty quick. It's just reloading there. Scrolling through is pretty good. Let's go to Mr. Android, FHD. It's got some nice pictures of things. Oh, nice picture. Let's zoom in if it lets us. Okay, there we go. You can see, you can zoom in real nice. Pretty smooth. Go back. Again, and this is just Twitter. This isn't, let's go to Mr. Tech Odyssey, my buddy here. What's he doing here? Bring your Xbox and TV, old picture when you used to be able to LAN party with it. So you can see that works fine. Let's open up my browser. Let's go to Chrome. Got Chrome open here. Let's go here. Google's Pixel strategy is officially a mess, but I know how to fix it. Oh, I'm glad he knows how to fix it. So, just doing these basic tasks are great. They work great. No problems at all. Look at that. Let's click on a picture. So you don't really see a lot of jagged edges. Swiping home goes really, really fast. That looks great. Let's go into a little multitasking here. So we have a couple apps open. So we'll go with this one first. Oh, can you not do that one? We'll do it from here. We'll open an app from here. So we'll go Chrome, Press and hold it. Oh, is it going to do it? No, it's not going to do it. Okay, we'll just tap Chrome, bring this up. All right, let's bring an app over here. Let's bring in the Chrome. We'll do the Play Store. All right, we got 2 apps open here just to show you. I'll do a, let me do YouTube. I'll do YouTube. That way it's something that's a little bit more consumable in terms of the power and all that. And I'll turn the volume down so you don't have to listen to me talk on here. Go to Greggle's TV. We'll play my newest video where I'm just talking. Make sure it's playing at 4K. Advanced. There we go. 2160 it's playing at. And we'll scroll this website. We'll go to the main page of Android Police. Read this article. So all that looks good. It's not slowing down at all. And the reason I'm showing you this is like, well, okay, big deal. This is important because this is a day-to-day task, and I know cheap phones can do this too, but it's literally not having any problems at all. It's plenty power for day-to-day tasks and to do things like that. So if you're worried that the power that you're going to get isn't going to be good long-term for for dedicated tasks, for normal day-to-day tasks, you can see that it is. There's no problems at all. It runs great in terms of day-to-day tasks. All right, so I have some Roblox open here. I'm going to open up some games that people consider to be some of the most high-performing tasks on here for gaming. All right, here's a little morning light game. This is on Roblox. I have the graphics set to automatic, and this is one of the more intensive graphical games. And I mean, if you look at this, I wouldn't know if you would think this was Roblox. I think this looks pretty good for a mobile game. I think I reached the invisible wall. Let me go back. A little bit, you can see underwater. This almost looks like a good PlayStation 2 type game. But I can tell that, like, even at automatic, the frame rate isn't amazing. It's looking a little jagged. It's not super smooth. And again, this is only running at automatic. If I go into the settings here, and here we go, settings. And if I go into where it says graphics quality, right now it's set to automatic. I'm going to change that to manual and push this all the way up. It's as high as it can go. Is it? Yep, it is. I'm going to hit resume. And it runs, I've noticed anyway, it seems to run at about the same. It's not perfect, but it's completely playable. Playing games that are a little bit more graphically intense, and there's not even anybody else on the screen right here. It's really kind of just a demo to show off you going hiking wherever this is. And the graphics, like I said, they look pretty good. It's just that you can kind of tell that it's not super smooth. Hopefully you can see it's a little jagged, but completely playable. Here's Street Showdown. I want to show this one next. And I have to admit, I'm not a expert at playing this game. But I think it's a pretty decent looking game overall. Again, for mobile. I mean, if I saw this on PlayStation 5, I'd be like, maybe not. But for mobile, it's pretty good. And this is running at its highest graphical settings. And this one probably even seems to be running a little bit better with the graphics. So I think it's nice. It's good to reiterate that even though we're not getting top graphical frames per second performance, it's still great to have the option to game on this thing. And not that you wouldn't think you could, but you can still game on this. I think a kid would game on this and be like, you know what, this looks fine. They're not going to be like, oh, this looks terrible, or the frame rates are bad. Most people won't even notice that, I don't think, especially if it's the only phone they have, or they're coming from an even older phone that's not as powerful. Absolutely nothing wrong with this. This looks, again, pretty good. And racing games generally do offer good frames per second and have good graphics. So as you can see, the Google Pixel Fold can run a lot of things really well. It's still a fast phone. Just like I would expect the Google Pixel 9 Pro Fold, which have the Tensor G4 processor and a couple percentage points better performance, to be as well. I don't think we're going to see marked differences like we would have with, say, something like a Snapdragon 8 Gen 1 versus an 8 Gen 3. Like, that's a huge gap. Huge gap. You're not going to see those kinds of gaps right now with the Tensor G2, 3, or 4. They're all basically the same depending upon the test and how heated up the phone is and everything in between. But with Snapdragon processors, there's huge differences. Even with, you know, certain generations of the Apple processor, you know, the A12 to the A16 or whatever, you're going to see big jumps and leaps in terms of performance differences. So you're still going to get a fast phone that can compete with medium to high gaming settings, a phone that can run basically any task really, really well. It's just going to age really, really bad as apps and games and things become more heavy with needing processing power. They're just not going to keep up. Now I think they really need to do something with these Pixel processors, these Tensor processors, in terms of adding some more horsepower in there. And I will probably see it next year, reportedly, when they switch over from Samsung making their processors over to, I believe it's TSMC, and there's supposed to be they're going to be smaller and more efficient. So we'll probably see some more improvements with that. But, you know, Tensor G2, 3, 4, G2, G3, and G4, we're just not seeing it. First story is about Samsung One UI 7. We're still waiting for the beta. I thought it was going to come out this week. It's been really pushed back. It looks like it might even come out next week as well. It might maybe get pushed back to later this month or maybe even September, but I would have to guess it's probably gonna be later this month. But yeah, it's been pushed back. But one of the cool things that Samsung really wants you to look and feel about this is that it's not feeling like a One UI operating system. And Ike's Universe put out a tweet saying One UI 7 Beta 1 wants to give you this feeling of, after experiencing it for a minute, you will exclaim, is this really the One UI I remember? I don't think it's gonna be that large of a change in terms of what we use now with One UI 6.1.1 and then jumping over to One UI 7. I can't imagine I'm gonna be like, wow, this just does not feel like Samsung. I'll be surprised, but I'll be happily surprised. Not that I actually need it to change all that much. I like One UI right now, but it's still, I can see maybe some slight differences happening. The icons and the quick toggles and things looking a little bit different, but I can't think I'm gonna be like, oh my God, this does not feel like One UI 7. But is that what you guys want to happen, or do you just want it to feel a little bit more refined like I do? Man, if you're looking to pre-order the Google Pixel 9, 9 Pro, Pro XL, or the 9 Pro Fold, you are going to get some amazing pre-order gifts. Now these are in Europe, but this most likely is gonna carry over to America and a lot of other parts of the world where you can buy this. They're amazing. So the information that's coming out is coming out from Android Headlines. I'll link it down below like I do all my sources. And the exclusive information is that Pixel 9 buyers, meaning the whole series of Pixel 9s, buyers will get Google One 2 terabytes of storage, Fitbit Premium, and YouTube Premium will be included, but that's not on. You'll get all that stuff for a year. So basically what's gonna happen is I have to blur out the remaining part of this photo just because it's an official photo. And you're also gonna get a memory upgrade. So you'll be able to get double the storage. So for the price of the 256, you'll get the 512 gigs of storage. You'll get an extra 200 euros in credit. And you'll also get Gemini Advanced 12 months free, which is their enhanced Gemini AI features and usage. Like, things will just work faster when you do it. And here's a portion of the article saying next week Google is expected to announce the Pixel 9 series live for Mountain View. However, before the announcement, we could provide you with some details about what buyers will get for the 9, the 9 Pro, the 9 Pro Fold. According to some material we have seen, we can confirm the 9 Pro Fold buyers will get 1 year of the Google One UI or Google One AI Premium plan. See, as we've leaked quite a bit already, they will also get 6 months of Fitbit Premium and 3 months of YouTube Premium. That's commercial free YouTube. These freebies are available to those who purchased the 9, 9 Pro, 9 Pro XL, and the 9 Pro Fold before October 31st, 2025.
Sure, I can help with this. First,
listen to me.
Please unlock your phone.
Man, my Google is listening to me. And before December 31st, 2025 for the Fitbit Premium and YouTube Premium freebies. That means that for basically the entire life cycle of the Pixel 9 series, you will get these freebies included. So some of this stuff is going to be for a year, some's going to be for a few months, but it's a massive, massive push for people to get these. And when I see this, I've got to imagine that they're going to give us really good trade-in offers. Last year, if I remember correctly, it wasn't that great, but when they're being so aggressive with a lot of these things, throwing in stuff that I pay $100 a year for 2 terabytes of storage, and now if I get this phone, I can potentially get it for free, it sounds like. That's not a bad deal at all. It's a really, really good deal. And it's stuff I already use. I don't use the premium AI Gemini feature. I just don't know if it's gonna be worth it. But if I get it for free, sure, I'll try it out. But yeah, they're looking like some really, really nice pre-order offers on here for the Google Pixel 9 series. What do you guys think about these? Is it enough to pull you in? We're gonna start it off with the Galaxy S24 Fan Edition, and what the specs are for this phone if you're thinking about getting it. Should be released quite soon in the next, I would say, month or two, maybe later, but somewhere in that time frame. And here are the major specs for the Galaxy S24 Fan Edition. So we're looking at an Exynos 2400 on here, which is a step up from the previous generation when it had a Exynos 2200, 6.7 inch, 120 hertz, full HD plus dynamic AMOLED display. So the display is bigger this year, 1.9 millimeter bezels, so small bezels on there, 1900 nit peak brightness on there, so the displays will get pretty bright for you. 50 megapixel main, 12 megapixel ultra wide, and 8 megapixel telephoto lens on there, 4700 milliamp battery, Gorilla Glass Victus Plus on the front and back, 8 millimeters thin, up to 12 gigabytes of RAM, and the price should settle somewhere between $599 and $649 for this mid-tier, upper tier, slower tier budget phone. Now they're going to announce the Google Pixel 9 series of phones. That includes the 9, 9 Pro, 9 Pro XL, 9 Pro Fold, along with their new watches as well, the Pixel Watch 3 and the bigger one as well. And what are the major things about the Google Pixel 9 Pro XL that you can look forward to in terms of like some major upgrades going along with it? Well, we're looking at a 3000 nit peak brightness, so 3000 nits is really, really bright. Now, you really have to turn the display all the way up to really get that. A halfway brightness is usually pretty dim on a Pixel. You have to, for me, I usually have to turn it to like 80% brightness just to get it to where I really want it. Whereas on like a Samsung phone, it's usually only have to be about 50 or 60%. 16 gigs of RAM, so it's gonna have a ton of RAM built into this. Faster charging, not sure specifically how much faster, but faster. 42 megapixel selfie, so a big time selfie camera put on the front there. Ultrasonic fingerprint sensor, not probably a reason I would want to specifically upgrade to a phone, but it has an under display fingerprint sensor like it's always had, but now it's the new ultrasonic fingerprint sensor, so it'll have a little bit more security and accuracy. The most advanced Pixel ever. I think it's gonna end up walking away as probably one of the phone of the years in a lot of people's minds. It'll have the Tensor G4 processor in there, which is a slight small upgrade. I've done a video recently, and it's not a huge difference versus the Tensor G2 or G3, but it will be a little bit different, and hopefully you never know how good the NPU side will be on there in terms of it handling AI tasks, and also its efficiency with battery life. It's going to be much better at that as well. So let me know if you're picking up one of the Pixel 9s, and if so, which one and why. Google Pixel 9 Pro Fold is going to be announced in just a couple of days from the time of making this video, and I wanted to go through some reasons why you probably want to upgrade to this phone. Now, you might want to be upgrading to this phone if you're coming from the Google Pixel Fold 1, or if you don't having a folding phone but you love Google Pixel phones, or maybe you're on an older Samsung Galaxy phone, or you're on some other phone and you just want to switch to this phone. So I'm going to go through those reasons right now. So let's talk about it. The first couple things are the processor and the RAM. Now, the Tensor G4, I have to admit, at least raw performance-wise isn't a huge jump over the Tensor G2 or the Tensor G3, but it's going to potentially have, we don't know this yet, but you've got to expect that they're releasing this processor. It's going to probably be a lot better with on-device performance of AI tasks, either be with photo operations or with just local searching things on there for AI, or whatever it may be. It's most likely going to be better in those aspects. You've got to hope and guess. So I'm going to throw in the Tensor G4, and also the performance is a little bit better year over year. It's gonna be about probably at most 10% better performance, probably more so 5 to 7% in real life performance. 16 gigs of RAM is awesome because last year's only had 12. Galaxy phones don't even have 16 gigs of RAM, and this is going to be great for having more apps open at once. It's going to be better for the prolonged life of this device. The longer you hold this device, the better it will perform over the life of the device, because device apps need RAM, and this is going to have a lot of RAM. 16 gigs is a lot. And this would probably be this would be the main reason I would switch to this phone, have it be from basically any other phone on the market today, and that would be the displays. The displays on here are absolutely humongous in a good way. 8-inch main display. This is going to be great for multitasking. It's going to be great for looking at a website. You could read a book on one side and then look at a video if you want to be that daring, or music on one side. You can play some nice, music and change the tracks when you want to while you're reading your book. Whatever it may be, there's a multitude of reasons why you might want to multitask or just need a huge display for watching a movie or playing a game. This is awesome. It's the biggest display on a Western market foldable phone, and I can't wait to try this display out. The next one would be that outside display, 6.3 inches, but it's not the traditional look as the Pixel Fold 1, which looked like a passport. This is going to be much more normal to a traditional phone. Again, another reason I can't wait, because you're going to have a great sized, normal sized phone on the outside, and on the inside you have this huge tablet display. The displays are just super exciting to me because they're something you look at all the time. You do everything on them, and it's the main selling point of folding phones. I don't care what anybody says. Next would be the 2700 nits of brightness. These displays are going to be brighter. They're going to look good in outdoor viewing, and it's improved a lot from last year's, especially if you're coming from last year's, or even a phone that was previously on another company. In terms of a foldable phone or any other phone, this competes with a lot of phones right now, if not beats them in terms of brightness. 4650 milliamp battery. I think this phone is gonna do good on battery life. The reason I say that is because I think the Tensor G4 might not be a huge jump in terms of performance, but I think with battery, it's really going to help. And I think those working in tandem are gonna do some pretty awesome things. This next one is pretty big too. One of my hates about the Pixel Fold 1 is how heavy it is. It's now lighter at 257 grams, not as light as the latest, Galaxy Z Fold 6. And also, not also, the dimensions. This is the thinnest foldable phone versus any phone in the Americas. This is 10.5 millimeters thin. So you got a big display. They're able to flatten a lot of this stuff out. So super thin. Cameras, they've improved the cameras. So we're gonna get better cameras than we did last year. The cameras are pretty good last year, not bad, but they're gonna be improved. They're gonna be better, and they should compete, if not beat, what you get on the Galaxy Z Fold 6, which isn't always saying a lot, but I think we're gonna get much better photos this time around because of the improved cameras and newer cameras on there. AI additions on here. You're gonna get the emergency SOS, pixel screenshots as well. Some new features built into the AI development of this phone, which should make the phone more interesting and more helpful to use. The screenshots is just gonna be a way of remembering things, and then emergency SOS is kind of a smart SOS where it alerts you, letting you know like, hey, there's potential disasters around you that are going to happen or that have happened. 7 years of security and firmware updates. This is great, but I'll be highly surprised if at 7 years this phone is feeling like a beast. I just can't imagine it will. But if it does, for whatever reason, you do get 7 years of not only security updates, but firmware updates, meaning you're gonna get a lot of features pushed to this phone. Some stuff won't, but within 7 years, but a lot of stuff still will, which is good to see. The performance is gonna get overwritten, I think, in a lot of ways by people with the Tensor G4 not being the most strongest, powerful processor in the world. But just using this phone and the design of it in terms of what they're giving us with bigger displays and it being lighter than it was and thinner, I think it's gonna make a lot of people's top list of folding phones, and I won't be surprised by that. So let me know your thoughts on this. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you guys down the road. Peace.